The ceremony complete. Let's have a look at the teams. England make a couple of changes, enforced for Sean Wayne. Matty Ashton comes in for the injured Tommy Makinson. Off the bench, Liam Farrell provides the option with Morgan Knowles unavailable. Tonga have kept the changes to a minimum as well. Junior Tupou comes in for his club teammate Stafford Toa out on the wing. Off the bench, there's a bit of a change too, with Eliesa Katoa replacing Hami Saley, and there's a switch with Hamaoli Olakawatu coming into the side as well. And now it's time for one of the most special cultural performances, the Sipitao. Oh, such emotion within those Tonga players, who, as we were hearing in the build-up to this one, have really taken it upon themselves as a group to really invest in their culture, the Tongan culture. The huddle is formed. We are almost underway here at the John Smith Stadium. Jack Smith is our referee for this one. Liam Moore will be the video ref. His touch judges, as you can see, Chris Kendall and Richard Thompson. So it's a heavyweight lineup in terms of the officials. And we are just moments away. Brian Noble, not far away from kickoff. The Test Rugby League is back again in England, second time in a matter of 6 days.
Can't wait, absolutely. Christian Wolf has lit the flame for me, saying they started poorly last week. England got off to a start. I'm expecting huge fireworks at the beginning of this. On the week before Bonfire Night, we're going to see some fireworks, an early display, if you like, Matt. This is going to be fantastic. Both teams will play football. But the encouraging thing and the exciting thing in the process of trying to play that football, both teams have got to get stuck into each other.
Yeah, Tonga have completed their pre-match rituals. England are ready to get us underway here with Harry Smith just tucking his gum shield in, and Jack Wellsby, such a key component as captain. Tonga and Isaiah Katoa have plenty of class about them. So the pitch has been cleared. The teams are ready. The second test is upon us. England 1-0 up in the series. Will it go to a decider, or can Sean Wayne's side pick up this series here today? And there's a tone-setting carry right off the back fence there from Tonga, Brian Noble.
Well, it's going to be a bit more of that from Tonga. They said they need to be more direct, more physical. John Wilkin pointed that out in our pre-match assessment, that they're going to have to be a bit more direct. Christian Wolf also talks about the slippery conditions, so it may well not be as fluent as we probably would hope at the start. But there you see an early play from Oli.
Tonga a little loose as Kofusi tries to burrow his way through. Havili, chance for Lollahair to kick early. It's a scruffy kick.
It was scruffy.
And now England and Jack Welsby get their first chance to examine Tonga's mettle.
Did you see Welsby stare when they were doing the sippy tap? That's going to be a picture that does the rounds for sure. Intense.
Yeah, it's always a tough one, isn't it? You know, respecting the cultural performance, but also not being fazed by it. And that's England to a T there. Tom Johnston feeling the shoulders of Tevita Tartola that time. Banged downfield by Smith. Scooped up at the back. Marcola.
Well, England have won the first kicking duel. Lollahair's was a scruffy kick. England fielded well on the 30-40 metre line. Harry Smith there, cute cookie that he is, found space with his kick.
Havili gets it away. Bumpers up from Hopawate.
Stay on the 10. Hold square, go 3.
Havili led the sippy towel. A big part of this Tonga side, and Tevita Tartola, who is a club teammate of Tom Burgess, more than one occasion has partnered him in the front row of their opponents this afternoon. England doing well to limit Tonga's yardage here. Havili back to Kato, bangs the kick downfield. Another tester, well taken on the full though by England. And again, so far, so good for the man in white, Brian Noble.
Well, they're just filling each other out, aren't they? A couple of kicks from Tonga, not too much pressure for England's back three, and they've converted really, really well. I think what's interesting is we're seeing Tonga go really early to try and get over the top of Smith and Mikey Lewis, who are hiding themselves just in from the touchline. Surprised early on in the game they've gone early on those two players.
Go 3.
The Tongan Santa is here. Tonga contingent behind the posts. There he is. Run in by Tom Burgess that time. And England just inside Tonga territory. Last tackle, Olakau'atu is there, just putting himself about. This time it's skybound, that kick. Well taken at the back. And Tola Kola, who showed his qualities in the first test, certainly passed the test that time.
He did a great job. He was under a lot of pressure. I couldn't quite see who was flying through in and around the middle, but they put great kick pressure on Smith. Smith manufactures a spiral bomb. England winning those little battles at the moment.
Here comes Tyson Frizzell with that shock of blonde hair. Brother Shannon has a equally important assignment for New Zealand Rugby Union World Cup final. Down this right edge now, it's Olakau'atu, and he stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't he? He's in a wrecking ball of a human being, a manly man. Oh, it was a scrappy kick from Penasini that time.
I think England knocked on though. I think he might have got a result here.
I was given turnover ball. Okay. Although he's got a word from Chris Kendall, touch judge. No, it's
Let's have a look.
Stuck with the decision.
Play it out.
That's right. Good decision.
Get off him, go.
So England and Tom Johnston. At the moment, as you say, Brian, just feeling each other out. It's a tentative start.
It's a bruising feel of each other. Let me tell our viewers. There's some big athletes out there crashing into each other.
Yeah, that time, plenty of big boys. Adifanoa Blake and Tevita Tartola. Getting stuck in. Samila Havili's there as well. Oh, that's a late pass. A late shot on Victor Radley there. He's left in a heap. We'll go back for that as a penalty. Well, they certainly didn't miss on Victor the Inflictor. Got a taste of his own medicine there.
Certainly did. I think it was Frizzell who flew out the line just as he passed the ball. Yeah, I don't think he's committed to that. I don't think he can do much about it. Referee deems, yeah, he was committed to that tackle, but he will felt it. It's right in his ribs. He's exposed because his arms are exposed.
Yeah, it's right at the very last, wasn't it? The ball had literally just crap from his fingertips.
It's a penalty on the boys.
So Tonga
Jack.
with some defending to do here.
Victor should be counting his ribs there, because he didn't miss, did he? Brazil.
It's all right where we're at, okay?
Yeah, he's up and on his feet at least.
Yeah, let's go, Harry.
Maybe with a bit of an ache.
You get over it now.
Yeah, he'll certainly be
tomorrow
reminding himself of that one next time he sees Tyson Brazil piling forward. Smith helps it out to Burgess. Oh, he poked his nose through there for England. Sidney Ramato's man. Clark. Set restart for England as Matty leads. Guides Sean Way side into good ball territory here. Smith. Wellesby switch back on the inside after Whitehead. Throwing plenty of angles at this Tonga defence. Now Clark finds Radley. Now it's Harry Smith. Gets it wide. Lovely hands! Into the corner! Matty Ashton! First England try for Matty Ashton. Although, I think Jack Smith, he wants to dot the I's, cross the T's here. He sent it up to Liam Moore, and we will hear from Liam Moore in the video referee's booth.
It's tackle 2, the line decision is a try on field, so we're just looking at the touchline and the grounding, please. So Ashton is in possession at this point, maintains possession of the ball, going towards the line, feet are in the field of play, and the ball is grounded. Thank you, I made my decision.
So Jack Smith just waiting for the confirmation on the screen. And Matty Ashton
too quick, they can't get it on screen in time.
Will soon get the good news that his efforts
Just give it, Liam, or is it coming?
have not been in vain. And finally we get the confirmation. England hit the front. Matty Ashton crossing. And that is the perfect start.
Well, they got the start they wanted, and it's on the back of this penalty on Victor Radley. Tyson Brazil doesn't miss, but it gives England field position, and Tonga was short of numbers. Lula here jumps in and tries to make amends, but he can't. It springs, gets it out to Ashton, and he's got the easiest of tasks through the hands.
Well, we saw last week catch and pass from Moses Suli, and we saw some catch and pass there of real quality Harry Newman.
That's a great pass from Newman, isn't it? Because they've decided that they were short, they were going up and out with the Tongan defence. They needed to close down, at least get to Newman. And the quality of his skills and the quality of his handling gives Ashton the relatively easy task of just putting it down in the middle.
And so Harry Smith, Tonga's inquest behind the posts. Meanwhile, Harry Smith, he had a great afternoon with the boot last weekend. 3 from 4. Smith sends it on its way, and he finds the mark 2. England have a converted score lead, and that is just what Sean Wayne would have been looking for. A good start, settle the nerves right into this test match.
Well, he spoke about the start, didn't he? So did Christian Wolf, so they were aware of what was going to come at them, but the quality of skill and the hands from left to right was superb. With Lewis finding a pass for Newman, who's catch and pass, put Ashton into the corner.
Running that time by Lees. That's just what people have paid their money for. Heading for Noah Blake, bending his back and drilling it into Matty Lees' midriff.
Well, they've picked up on the fact that they need to commit more people in numbers to slow it down. It was interesting that, well, a bit of a juggle there from John Bateman. It was interesting that it was Tom Burgess that found some ruck speed that set the whole play up for England. John Wilkins spoke about that in the pre-match assessment. So both teams trying to learn.
Yeah, exactly. That was a prime example, wasn't it, of the three-man tackle there. Olakawatu involved as well. Smith, they're going to run it here. King, oh, big fend. What a fend that was. Will Penasini picking himself up off the deck. Smith hoists it. Oh, that's a swirler. And well taken, in fairness, Will Hopwate.
Great from Will Hopwate. Never looked like dropping it, did he? And it was moving around and it was swinging around.
Christian Wolf making a few notes. And now it's Tonga's turn to see what's up their sleeves here. And it's Junior Tupou, one of those players coveted by the Wallabies. He has been linked with a move to rugby union with Australia, just like his old schoolboy pal Joseph Suolihi, who is swapping the Roosters for such territory. But at the moment, very much a rugby league player, very much a test player here for Tonga. And it's England who will bring the ball away through Tom Johnston.
It was a smart kick out dummy half from Havili. He found the energy, he found the space particularly. It gives Tonga a little bit further up the field, and now they'll be trying to front load their energy, use all their energies to try and keep England this end of the field.
Into acting half. Mikey Lewis keeping that ball moving. Now Matty Ashton not only already has a try to his name, but he's got some gas, hasn't he? If they can get him into open space, real threat.
And I think there will be opportunities for England on the fringes. I think they've highlighted that, they've seen that. Lee Breers has seen that, Sean Wayne's seen that. They're going to keep playing through Radley here with the numbers.
Yeah, Toby King that time taking the ground. Tonga have muscled up here, that's for sure. Havili and Penasini finishing that one off, and then there's a little bit of kick pressure there, which limits the yardage of that kick.
And I think he took a deflection as well, Matt. I think there's a bit of kick pressure from the Tongans. Got a deflection, limited the amount of yardage that Smith was able to get.
And now it's Tonga right back at it again. And that's what it's going to be like this afternoon. Tolutau Kola, really strong carry from the outside back. Lots of pace about him. The Manly Sea Eagles man, Frizzell.
He's a handful, Frizzell, isn't he?
Down that left edge, all the experience.
It's so much to do there. He was surrounded by three white jumpers, found the crack in the middle of the three of them and managed to push himself through.
Yeah, he's a unique position of having played international rugby league for Wales, Australia, where he was part of a World Cup winning team. Or Havili there, ball went through his legs for a moment.
Clean bowled.
Sent up that time by Lolohea. England got numbers in the frame, and they coped with that kick admirably there. There was plenty of red shirts hovering, also plenty of white ones.
I think Ola Couture and Frizzell on both those flanks are their go-to players. I think they're hoping for a lot of things from that referee stopped the game for some reason.
Yeah, happy now that the play of the ball can continue. And Tom Johnston, I think it was, who just got belted there by Felice Kafusi and added for Noah Blake. And Totola, again, the big boys. It's going to be plenty coming off the bench as well for Tonga this afternoon. Keon Kalamatangi, Oyaki Fotuaika.
Well, that's another small win for Tonga. It was Clark, or was it Lewis that got into dummy half? Wellesby maybe even, to try and kick the ball further down the field. Starting their sets on the 40-metre line. They'll be hoping to get well into England territory. But we're in the territory battle, aren't we, at the moment? It's a penalty that separated them the last time.
And that time, Will Penasini stopped in his tracks. Every time these big Tongan forwards get the ball, they're capable of skittering defenders, that's for sure. Havili finds Kafusi. England up in their faces. Havili again, winding up Totola. Nice ball out the back. Penasini into the line. Loads of pace, loads of skill, the Parramatta man.
You have to say King's on top of him at the moment. He's carried the ball a couple of times against Penasini and beaten him. And that's a shocker from dummy half.
Now Isaiah Katoa has to spin all the way backwards. And now Lolohea kicking definitely on the back foot. That one hangs in the air. The bounce might favour Tonga here. Lolohea's going to gather his own kick. In fact, it's left instead for Olakau'atu. And that's turnover ball.
It's real dangerous when you let the ball bounce. Because the kick was out of nothing and from nowhere from Lolohea, he just went straight up and it bounced and then nearly got a result. Maybe he should put that into the game plan.
Tell you what, Sam Tompkins enjoying it. Now he's not getting battered by Tongans. Smiling. So here comes Matty Ashton. Already got a try to his name this afternoon. So Rugby League Extra follows the action here on BBC One. So plenty more analysis and interviews, and then next week a massive triple header for England. The women's game, England-Wales. Jodie Cunningham and company. That one kicks off at 12, starts at 11:30. The men's third test, England-Tonga, is on Saturday the 4th of November, BBC One at 2 p.m. And then the wheelchair game, England-France, that repeat of that World Cup final, on Sunday the 5th of November, 2:45 p.m. on BBC Two. 3 massive games next weekend, everybody involved, and it's all on the BBC. Darrell Clark trying to dictate the pace here. Radley, really important, ball playing, Harry Pinner style loose forward. Boomed up there by Mikey Lewis. Oh, and that was a tester at the back for Tonga.
Cooler, really caught it great again.
Offloads at the back here for Tonga, and actually sort of worked.
Kind of worked, kind of off script. People are playing to the script at the moment, and the 2 opportunities Tonga have created have been off script. They're still coming to terms with the ruck. The great analysis we saw at the top of the show, Tonga still haven't come to terms with the speed of the ruck. They're giving away 2 6-agains defensively, trying to get used to it. They gave a penalty away, and they allowed Burgess on the quick play the ball to play the ball with the speed that he would like.
Lovely tip on by Fanua Blake. Tartola got smashed on what we're going to see here.
Was it Fanua Blake that got smashed on the short play? A la Radley earlier on, got some field position. Maybe this is the way to get forward, but he was late.
Yeah, Burgess came in when he was no wrap on the arms either. That could be
shoulder charge.
Yeah, a little bit dodgy come disciplinary time. That's just what Jack Smith said.
He's been listening to you. He's got a microphone in your ear.
He doesn't want to do that. Yeah. He doesn't want to do that, believe me.
Well, he's got the call right. He was both late and it was a shoulder charge.
Fine margins when you play at pace like that, and that's the thing about the Adam Fanua Blake. I mean, he's probably the best prop in the NRL this season for the Warriors. The best props in the world, full stop. But he can play too. He can do the tough stuff, but he can certainly play.
Really soft hands. Until we talk about the Tongan physicality, England are very physical in the middle. They have to be.
Yeah, they've got the players, haven't they? Here comes Fanua Blake again, afforded no time or space. In come the big boppers for England. Bateman there, Burgess there. Radley was loitering.
Well, they're just not quite getting the ruck speed that they both want, and have probably worked on through the week. That'll be frustrating Christian Wolf for sure.
Bit of shape here for Tonga though. Holokawatu, 10 tries in each of his last 2 seasons for Manly. He's a strike weapon, that's for sure. Taken down inside the 10. Katoa, Kofusi, here come Tonga, real good shape here. Hopawati gets it away. Suli, really good defence from England though. Matiashton scores at one end, saves one at the other. Oh, and here we go. Didn't take long, did it?
Bit of pushing and shoving. Great defence from England. Run across there. I'm sure they've had a few verbals to the Tongans saying this is how we defend. We're at home. Push and shove. I'm surprised to see John Bateman in there.
I tell you what, Matty Lees should have had a light blue bib on. He was like a UN peacekeeper.
Yeah, it's great defence from England. Everybody moving across, everybody coming across from the inside, so you know you've got your inside shoulder, enables you to move out and solve the problem, solve the play. Matty Aston solves the play by punching into the sideline. Harry Newman push and shove and carry on, and John Bateman push and shove and carry on, and Will Hopewati saying no, and I'm sure the referee's got it covered.
Yeah, let it all simmer down. Get his touch judges over. Interestingly, the man who got cleaned out, which was Tolu Taukola, he just walked away. Everything spiralled on the back of it.
He probably had no idea what was going on. He's trying to get into the corner with a fantastic flying finish. Doesn't get that. It's barreled into the sideline. Mr. Smith saying, stop it, boys. Otherwise, he'll have to take further action. So what's his decision here? Is he going to penalise Harry Newman or not? Somebody's pushed somebody.
Let's go, Harry. Time back on.
Yeah, I think that was it. Probably we'll go back to first offence, and the rest we'll let disciplinary deal with if we're going to hear anything about it.
Yeah.
So Tonga might feel a little bit hard done by, but it was they who sparked it.
Surrender. Stand Maltese!
So England
Wait! Go.
with a chance to clear the decks here. 6 ahead
Eyes on ball.
in this second test, and Tonga come out firing, and then an England penalty. That's the balance, isn't it? You don't want to lose. You want aggression, but controlled aggression, Brian.
Time off.
As long as you don't get distracted, you believe that you've got to help your fellow player, believe you have to be there. They're adjudicated that the ball steal, clearly a ball steal. I don't know what they're complaining about, the Tongans. You can't get distracted. If you get distracted, it manifests itself in a way that it did there.
Certainly England have another tap, a penalty, another set of 6 inside Tonga territory, and Tom Burgess skids along the deck.
It's another win from Tom Burgess. He's really effective.
Shades of forward there from Radley. Thankfully, from England's perspective, overlooked by Jack Smith. Lees will play it. Clark kept it simple so far. Bateman back in Australia in 2023 with the West Tigers, and previously been at Canberra. Radley, bit of a show and go. Now England in range. Still with a couple of tackles left here. Clark to Lewis. Oh, he got steamrolled.
What a tackle. What a rugby league tackle. He hit him, sided him in the middle. And they got the spoils for that aggression, Tonga. Brilliant. Watch this. Boom. Frizzell again. He's everywhere. With the ball, without the ball. Giving penalties away.
It's, yeah, Felice Kaufusi. Didn't know about him last week, he told Tanya Arnold. He's learned his lesson. That's for sure, Brian Noble.
Yeah. You have to learn them quick.
Kaufusi back up, having made that shot. And 6 missed tackles England, 4 for Tonga. Plenty they haven't missed, that's for sure.
I thought it was Frizzell, because he'd been everywhere as well. Kaufusi's got oodles and oodles of world-class experience.
Really good tackle that time by Whitehead, who just stopped the juggernaut that is Olakawatu in his tracks. Tavita Tartola. Tonga getting bogged down in midfield here. Kato with the kick, looking for corners. And I think we've seen enough of Tom Johnston in this test series so far to know that he's got the ability to scoot if the gap's open, but at the moment Tonga shutting those doors, Brian Noble.
It was their best clearance kick, if you like. It was their best attempt at trying to get some yardage down the field on the back of the great tackle from Kaufusi. Now see if they can back that up with restricting England's territory again. We're still, believe it or not, after 20 minutes in that process where we don't have a clear team that's in the ascendancy in relation to what they're doing at the right end of the field.
That quarter of the game gone. England have an advantage, but it's a narrow one. King smuggled that away. It went forward.
Did.
Fine margins though, and England will sense that if they can catch Tonga on an edge like that.
Well, that's execution, because they've stripped Tonga for numbers on the short side there. They've had a 4-on-3, and they just were edging. They were a bit too keen, and they should put that in the wallet and have a look at that at half-time. Sean Moyne will say, listen, if we get this right and we can find some ruck speed, some wins, some speed, we can strip them for numbers. And that's about execution.
Sean Wayne with his hands on his head a moment ago. Leah Bree is deep in dialogue with the staff on the bench, and you can see there, which possibly isn't quite so obvious from the rest of the play, how much rain is starting to tip down at the John Smiths.
Yeah, I don't think it helps either team. I think Tonga, with their ability to want to offload and things.
Oh, there's some gas. Oh, that's a brilliant run by Kohler, and then he spilled it. Well, he's got that in him. Rapid fire.
Did he spill it, or was it pulled out? If it does pulled out, it was 1-on-1 because he stripped him for speed. Where he goes, here he goes, here he goes. He's gone. No, he just drops it cold. I'll be disappointed with that.
At the back of the rope.
Tatola Kola, who finished off the scoring, and the Tonga fans, one of the best things about them being over here is the fan base. We saw it at the World Cup last year. They bring a real. First of all, they bring their own sound system, and secondly, they bring a completely different atmosphere. It's fantastic.
They're very passionate, very exciting, as you say.
Tonga, there's a prime example of the lessons learned. Committing numbers. Fotuwaika's on, by the way, and so is Kolo Matangi. And they are thick in the action already. They've peeled away from that ruck, and they are starting to get to grips with it now. Mikey Lewis, certainly no gaps opening up for him this time. More of a conservative afternoon, perhaps here. Great run, though, by Bateman.
Well, it was on the back of the Lewis carry that you think he's made a break, he's done this, but he got a quick play the ball on the back of it, and now we see a penalty.
And that is just what England needed. They've made an inroad, made an incision.
What are you doing, Harry? Taking two, yeah? Over two. Two tackle, Frizzell, stole the ball.
It's for the ball strip.
You see Chris Hill in the picture just a moment ago. Tyson Frizzell. Chris Hill is there. 35th test match for him. Third behind Ryan Hall and the outright leader, James Graham. And he's already surpassed James Roby, so already in pretty exalted company.
Yeah, but they're not discretionary penalties, that's what I'm saying, mate. I can't not give them.
So England fans enjoying themselves despite the downpours.
At least you have the same view as me.
And Harry Smith with a chance to make it a two-score lead, Brian. How important Test match rugby league to get a two-score lead at this stage?
Well, it's not vital, but it's important. It'll enable you to relax a little bit. England have been good with the ball. They've moved the ball well. They've tested Tonga. Tonga, not so much themselves. They've shown moments of individuals. Ole Kawatu on the flanks with Frizzell, Fusi showing a few bits and bobs. They all kick out of there. Kolo, though, we saw Kolo there pushing through. But England have been the better team so far.
Yeah, glimpses of what Tonga are about. Harry Smith from the tee. 8 points to 0. Plenty of breathing space. And it's advantage England again. But the initiative now, Tonga have to take. So, Isaiah Katoa, seen as the next big thing. The Australian Rugby League came through the Penrith system. Found his route blocked, has gone to the Dolphins, playing under Christian Wolf, his international head coach, and Wayne Bennett, of course. Not too bad people to be learning from, as England tried to return that ball, Brian, and Tonga right up off the line, right in England's faces here.
It was a great kick-off, and it was a great kick chase that accompanied that. They're just not putting full sets together, Tonga, either with the ball or without it, so that the odd win that England get is getting them further down the field than Tonga.
Matty Lees, who was beautifully described by John Wilkin as a junkyard dog in the build-up, and he's certainly putting himself about there. Matty Lees on the back of that. It's John Bateman's turn to soak up a bit of Tongan punishment. Now they might try and open things up here. Instead, it's a kick from Smith, and he gets that spiral, he gets that swirl, he pitches it in space. Eventually it bounces kindly, but it does buy the kick chase just a little bit more time, Brian.
Well, the three-pack field for Tonga just looked at each other, and it was like, yours, no, yours, no, yours. Then one of them decided, oh, that's me, I'll help you out there. They're not in their rhythm yet, Tonga, you can see that. Whether that's England's defence is too vigorous and they're winning the rope, or whether England's offence is too incisive and there's a little bit of worry and anxiety about the Tongans, they don't look fluent at the moment.
Powered up there by Kolo Matangi in centre field. Havili, hands on his knees, surveying his options. Trucked up by Fotuwaika, and he spilled it, and England have got it back here. That's the thing, you get big bodies and they get smashed, and sometimes on a wet day like today, that ball squirts out.
Well, that's the weather. And if you hit underneath the ball, age is old. Age is old. If you hit underneath the ball, they're likely to lose it.
Well, it's to Radley and then on to Chris Hill. He seems to raise his game in that England shirt. In his scrum cap. Poking his nose through that time. On home turf at the moment, Huddersfield Giants man. Oh, Lewis tried to pass, went to ground.
It's a knock on. He must have touched the Tongan player.
Yeah, by Whitehead. As Whitehead's going that way, knocked it that way. Scrum. That way.
So Tonga ball.
Where do you want the scrum,
Tonga have made a bit of progress. They've been hitting hard, which was not a surprise.
Shot clock
This is
on.
Lewis with the ball.
Let's go.
It's whacked by Katoa.
Yeah, half back on half back.
Yeah.
Lads, let's get the scrum form. Come on, Tonga. England, get the scrum form.
So Jack Smith wanting England to back down. They're not in a particular rush to do so.
Yeah, the first bit was, then it was off Elliott. Jack 6, 3, 5.
So it's a 4-2 split for Tonga in terms of where the numbers are. And all those numbers are on that left side, and that's where the ball's gone. Lollahea turns it back on the inside here.
First. Off the ball, John! Here, go on.
Using the battering rams. Frizzell. It just, the reverberations there.
Well, the battering rams are England at the moment. They're teaming up, they're aiming up, and they're knocking the red shirts about a little bit.
Yeah, Kalama Tangi to Katoa, lovely little switch there to Kola. Tonga now starting to run through a few of their plays. Open things up a little bit here for Tawaika. Runs into traffic.
Good field position for Tonga.
Yeah, options either side of the ruck too. Katoa out the back. Taken in. Penasini was on the shoulder, Tupou wide. Olakawatu's peeled around this side as well. Instead, they've gone back towards the middle. Katoa got cleaned out there by Smith. Ball batted backwards. And here's some space now! Oh, just for a moment.
Great tackle.
Until Moses Suli stopped him, Mikey Lewis was almost away.
He needed that tackle. Wow, Mikey Lewis was gone, wasn't he? He was in open space. He was writing a postcard to his mum.
Moses Suli was pleased to piggyback that one and hold him in his progress. Third tackle in the set. We've got some news on Adam Fanua-Blake from Damien.
Yeah, just a little bit of concern about the Tonga captain. He went down the tunnel, has got an injury to his sternum by the looks of it. He's back out, he's wrapped up. But of course he's a star of the NRL and a key player for Tonga. We'll wait and see whether he comes back.
Yeah, when he's a man who's used to playing 65, 70 minutes, having to spend a bit of time on the sideline with a sternum injury, I mean, that just shows you the kind of whacks that have been being dished out, Brian.
Well, he was on the back of a brilliant kick down the centre of it. There was nearly a 40-20. But yeah, the loss of Blake's a huge blow for Tonga. But they can't bring on another one. Well, they can. They can try and bring on another one, but whoever comes on has to do the job that Blake's been doing for them.
Yeah, and it's the tirelessness, isn't it? It's the ball play. It's the grind that Tonga's forwards are such a big part of. Taken down that time for Tawaika. Out the back, Katoa looking to find the ground. Straight down the throat of Tom Johnston, and England's wave will come washing forward again.
Well, England have been the better team. They're doing the smaller things a little bit better than Tonga at the moment. Tonga hanging in there in many respects.
Well, Matty Ashton, see you later. And then Saliva Havili, should I say, with a little bit of afters there. I think that just shows how frustrated Tonga are to an extent, because they won that collision.
I think he dropped the ball, didn't he, Ashton? And I think they were reveling about the fact that Ashton had dropped the ball, being slammed on his back. Let's have a look here. Here you go. Oh, yeah, there's the ball loss. There's the finish.
Yeah, bone rattler from Saliva Havili.
Well, welcome to Test match football, Matty Ashton.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses, is it?
Not all scoring tries in the corner. Sometimes it's getting your shovel out and being whacked.
And he certainly got whacked there. So scrum for Tonga on the back of that error forced by their aggression. Kotoa, Penasini
First.
has had a great couple of seasons with Para, made it to a grand final with the Eels in 2022. For Tuwaika now, Origin player, standing up for his country here for Tonga.
Next is one.
Kalamatangi was lost. It's a set restart for Tonga. This is prime position now.
Move, Mike! 10 here, Daz. You can't push up all the way up.
Frizzell. Harvili gets it into the hands of Kofusi. England being pressed back here. Tonga fans pensive. But their side are building something here. Kotoa. Oh, lovely hands for Olakawatu. They hit that line. It's here in the NRL all the time. But England somehow get bodies in the way. Kalamatangi's turn.
John, get up that ball.
They are slugging it at England here now. Havili to Kotoa. Kotoa! Desperate. Last one here for Tonga. On the England line, practically. Back to Lolohea. Oh, it's come loose. Chris Hill, he's got support. And now they're trying to get it into somebody quick's hands. And there, Jack Wellesby takes the tackle. Chris Hill couldn't wait to dish that off, but he was right place, right time there for England.
Oh, Chris Hill got a nosebleed thinking he's to go that far. He's tried to tip it on. I think he tripped it on to Lewis, and he tried to get Jack Wellesby. There you go, Chris Hill, he's off, he's gone. He wants to get Jack Wellesby on the ball. There's Harry Smith, he ain't going to go that far either. Tonga have recovered quite well here with the game. Well done, Chris Hill.
Chris Hill was like, where's Matty Ashton when you need him? Mr. Speed to burn. But England have turned that one round. It looked a bit threatening. Mikey Lewis snared again. He has a big target on his back. Set restart though here for England. And there's Harry Newman.
Set restart on play 5. It's killed Tonga, set restarts.
Yeah, they get burned here, aren't they? England come forward again. Radley gets it onto Mike McMeekin. He can make a difference. Such a big human being. The Catalan Dragons man moved to front row and he's looked so at home there. Radley. England slamming into this Tonga team now. Looking for a second try. Smith. Lewis. Clever kick. Chasing up there in. It's Ashton. Did he get there? Hopoate thought he had it. Ashton thinks he has. And another job for Liam Moore to pick the bones out of. But Matty Ashton might just have a second try. Over to Liam Moore.
Tackle 3, line decision is a try on field, so this comes from a kick, so we need to confirm onside, offside, please. So ball on foot. So ball on foot here. Onside, all onside to the right, so we're playing on from this point. So if we can look at the grounding now, please. Live calls a try on field, so just confirm Ashton does ground the ball. Nice and slow, please, on this. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Any other angle, just to confirm his hand stays on the ball. Live decision to try. Hand is on the ball there. Thank you. I made my decision.
So Matty Ashton, what a second test appearance this has been! A second try! England have a big buffer now! In the context of test football, Matty Ashton with raw pace. He looked as though he was second best to that, but somehow he had the turbo to touch it down. And England now can make it a real deficit for Tonga to climb, even at this stage.
Well, it's brilliant. Brilliant from Lewis to the touch on the kick. But what about the speed from Matty Ashton? Flew past Hopoate to jam it down in the corner. Couldn't have got there, shouldn't have got there. Not enough speed. Wow, watch him go. They accelerated the burners, gets his hand there before Hopoate thinks he does. Brilliant score for Matty Ashton.
Yeah, you talk about welcomes to Test Rugby League. He played in the France mid-season warm-up. But here in a big Test series, Pacific Islanders, the big Polynesians of Tonga. They're getting soaked and they are getting beaten. And the kick to come from Harry Smith again, right out on that sideline. Here's poise personified here.
Here it comes.
Harry Smith swings his boot and pulls it across the face.
About 3. Let's kick off, guys.
But 12 points to nil. Matty Ashton with 2 tries. And the Tongans have it all to do.
They certainly do. The good thing about the missed kick for Tonga is that they're 2 scores, and 1 scores and they're completely back in the game. But they haven't looked fluent. England have. I think England twice have been down that end of the field, have executed. Sean Wayne will be delighted about that. Especially the kick from Lewis, known as a runner, puts it on a pinpoint for Matty Ashton.
So Toby King tasked with leading the breakout, playing on home turf here. He doesn't play for the Giants, of course, but he is from these parts, and he did have a lone spell for his hometown club. But another player who will be proud to be here, and I'll no doubt have a family backing too.
4. Move, Tonga, hold your 10.
Real punch off at that time by Clark. Likewise, though, Tonga stiff in defence. Radley. Oh, and England has smuggled it wide here. King. Have they gone overlap now for Johnston? To turn his way through.
Last tackle, move, Isaiah.
Tonga eventually stopping.
Go 5.
But England are finding metres and they're finding space, Brian. Kick at the back. Taken control of that time by Kohler.
Well, somehow Tonga have to find some ruck speed, and what I mean by that is they can't do it either way, either with or without the ball. This carry here is one of their one and few that they've had, Tonga, so they can play. England have had all the 6 against. I think they've had 4, Tonga have had 1. They've had a couple of penalties as well, England, which is just a sheer sign of their dominance of this game.
Panicini gets rocked in the tackle a couple of times there, but manages to eke out some extra metres there. Havili spins now to Kolo Matangi, and then pushing forward is Eliesa Katoa. Oh, lovely hands by Olakawatu. This time it's the steam hammer Fenn rather than the subtle hands. And it's a set restart here for Tonga. And Katoa almost kicked until he... I thought he was going to chuck that set away.
My brain was screaming, don't kick it, it's a 6 again, you haven't had any.
Final minute of this half. Tonga have at least got a field position, and they have tackles as Fotuaika sent tumbling 10 away. And then a penalty. Do they take the 2 here just to get on the board, or do they keep it rolling? They've not got a lot of time on their side, Brian.
They haven't got a full minute, so they'll get 3 or 4 players with 40 seconds.
They're going to tap it, aren't they? And straight away, it's Kolo Matangi who says, I'll take this one in. Muscled up England. But the threat lurks. Fotuaika's there. On the opposite side is Lola Hare. Short ball for Frizzell. Tried to dump it off. England have won it back. And they will see out the half here. As the rain really starts to tip down here in Huddersfield. The hooter will sound. And England will head to the sheds with an advantage that they have worked hard to achieve. They've grabbed it. They've slugged it out. And they have their reward at halfway, Brian.
Totally deserved. They've been the better team. They found ruck speed when they needed it, executed particularly when they needed it. Tonga can't quite find a rhythm at the moment. They're finding half breaks and throwing the ball to the opposition. So I think Christian Wolf has the tougher of the 2 tasks as a coach. They've got to improve what they do in Tonga, but that's on the back of some vicious and ferocious defence from England.
Half-time, England 12, Tonga 0. Let's get down to Damien Hoos with Tui Lolohea.
Tui, what do Tonga have to do in the second half to get back in this?
I think we're just making too many errors. You know, we're giving them early position. We're making errors on tackle 1, tackle 2. So I think if we can clean that up, we're getting into a good grind of them. I think if we clean that up, we'll get a bit more joy.
Are you still having problems around the ruck?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we're giving a couple of six again, sorry. So I think, they're getting a couple of those and putting us on the back foot. So we need to clean that up.
Thanks, Tui.
Cheers, thank you.
Harry Smith is also with us. Harry, 12-2 a fair reflection, or 12-0 a fair reflection?
Yeah, I think we've done well most of the game. I think just a few errors have let them have a bit more field position that we'd liked, but I feel like we're getting them down their end early and keeping them down there well, so it's good.
It's a better track this week, but the rain not helping you.
Yeah, I'd say it was as good as last week, the track, I feel, and the weather, you have to just can't control that, so you change the game plan a bit. I feel we've done that a little bit better than them.
Thanks, Harry.
Cheers.
Well, the rain is teeming down here, but John, definitely in most areas England have got the better of that one.
Yeah, they've been dominant in most facets of the game. It's been a game where England seem to have a bit more composure, defensively have been resolute, and then have taken the chances when they've presented themselves. But when you look at the stats, there's not an awful lot in it that would, apart from maybe penalties conceded for Tonga, which has just given England too much possession, and the set restarts has given England too much possession. Tonga, I think, felt frustrated at times, never settled into it. I expected them to be, a much tidier performance, and it's been quite the opposite, actually, quite scrappy from them.
It has, it's been scrappy. We spoke about the conditions, that it might be a bit more free-flowing today, but, these weather conditions have not helped with that, and we have seen errors both sides.
We expected Tonga to come out all guns blazing, and they just didn't really, did they?
No, they didn't, and I thought England, like I said, defensively were very composed, didn't make many errors, and it was England who got on the scoreboard first, and it came off the back of a late hit on Victor Radley, and look, we slowed this down there. I don't believe that's late.
He can't do anything else, can he?
That's two frames on TV. It's 1/12 of a second, so it's not late for me. But what was fantastic off the back of it, what you can't question, is Harry Smith's execution. And I think this is brilliant from him. Using Mikey Lewis, who was so dangerous in the first test, as a foil, throwing him across into Harry Newman. And it was some start for England, Jodie, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and I think Harry Smith deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Mikey Lewis got all the headlines last week, but it was his ability to hold the defensive line, to go square, and then provide those opportunities for Mikey Lewis, and he's done the same again today.
And beautiful hands from Harry Newman as well.
Yeah, tidy. It was really tidy, and England were just cruising at that point, and it took Tonga to create a chance in the game, and it actually, from that point, descended into chaos for them and frustration. What a tackle from Matty Ashton. He's had some half. It was an amazing tackle on Kula to put him in touch. Off the back of that, a fracas ensued. John Bateman runs in. This is what you expect to see at a test match. Nothing shocking here, but what was shocking was maybe Tonga's reaction to it. It became all emotional. We see that Olakau'atu stealing the ball off Matty Lees. He's frustrated. Mikey Lewis gets stuck into him. And this was a period in the game that really, I felt like Tonga just weren't in control.
He's controlling that aggression. I think, obviously, from some of the defensive elements where they were a little bit poor last week, that aggression has been needed, and they found the ability to get around side. We see an error there where that was really going to challenge England. Otherwise, they've had opportunities, but just not quite been able to find that last pass or complete it to put points on the board. Yeah,
just ill discipline, and I feel like Christian Wolff has to reference discipline at half-time. And not only that, your reaction to conceding penalties. And there was a very emotional reaction from Tonga and wanting to square up and almost wanting to get involved with England in a way that they just don't need to.
And Jodie, we talked a lot about the ruck, and do you think maybe changing the style that they play to suit a Super League style ruck is actually throwing Tonga off?
Arguably, yeah. Obviously, they're trying to adapt to the conditions. They're trying to learn from what happened last week, and some of it's just not quite going right. In these conditions as well, they're trying to find passes to an edge, and actually, your touchline is not your friend in these conditions, and it's actually when they're dropping the conditions underneath, when they're actually finding some joy and attacking this England side.
Yeah, and look, England have defended well as well, and look, the second Matty Ashton try was manufactured purely off some fantastic defence. It was Chris Hill. Look, he doesn't want that ball. Never has it been more obvious. Very experienced, third all-time experienced, most experienced England player, but that resulted in field position, and that resulted in Smith to Mikey Lewis, who had time, who had space, and who put that kick on the money, Jodie.
Desire as well from England, I think, has been really good. Mikey Lewis there puts that kick in. Matty Ashton is actually really deep, possibly expecting the ball over the top, but he beats the fullback there to get the ball down, and I think Desire from England defensively and in attack has been really impressive in this first half.
Should Harper have done better there?
Yeah, I think so. I think that when you're faced with a running threat of Harry Smith and Mikey Lewis, the winger's got a couple of responsibilities. He either stays up and defends, or he tucks back and expects the kick. And his communication with his fullback's crucial. They got that wrong, but it was an amazing finish from Matty Ashton, a fantastic kick from Mikey Lewis. What a half! What a half Matty Ashton's had.
And not just in scoring those tries. I mean, defensively, being very good. And right at the end, you know, another crucial.
Yeah, defensively solid as well from Matty Ashton. We saw it earlier in the early example where we saw them get a little bit frustrated. But again, they're just getting in the faces, making it really difficult in these conditions, having bodies in the way, making sure that you're there and you're putting pressure on in the right positions. To keep hold of that was a really key point in time in this game.
And I was stood next to Tom Burgess. Tom Burgess was warming up just at the end of the half, and he stood on the sideline here and he's screaming desperation when that ball was coming out, and that's exactly what Matty Ashton showed. Desperation to score his 2 tries, but some huge defensive efforts from the young winger as well. He's had a great half.
These conditions, they don't make it easy for presenters either. I've got a very soggy script here, but very difficult, isn't it? Because it was sort of damp earlier, but now it's properly wet.
It is. We saw that aggression from both sides as forced some errors. We saw Matty Ashton lose the contact, lose the ball in contact, but I think England reacted much better when they did make those errors to make sure that they defended the next set. I don't think Tonga reacted quite in the same way, so I do think they're playing the conditions better. Yeah,
and conditions is really topical when it comes to something that just Tonga haven't done well. When weather's like this, you must kick the ball well. You must finish your sets well, and they just haven't done that, Tanya. They've just kicked the ball away. It's lacked structure. It's looked unorganised. This one from Pensini down the short side. And it's been a real point of difference. On the other side, you've got Harry Smith, who's really measured and controlled. And in conditions like this, you can have an awful set of 6. You can have a terrible set of 6. But if you produce a killer last play, that can make it. And Tonga just haven't had the discipline to come up with that, whereas England, in the main, have. And it's going to be something Christian Wolff will have to reference at half-time. For me, I'd be talking about last plays, I'd be talking about discipline, and I'd be talking about competing with England in the right way, not in a frustrated and emotional way like they have, but last plays.
Yeah, John, and I agree. I think, for me, when you're not getting your last plays right, it means you're not sticking to a game plan. It means you're not being patient with the ball. For me, England, and particularly Harry Smith, is really patient and structured with how he gets to his last sets and puts Tonga in positions that they don't want to be in. For me, it'd be going back to the game plan for Tonga, trying to make sure they focus on putting England in positions they don't want to be in.
Well, a fascinating second half to come up. Just to say, when we come off air here on BBC One, we will still have Rugby League Extra over on the iPlayer and BBC Sport website, because we will be discussing more on this game. We have interviews, plus we will be talking to Tony Sutton, the CEO of the RFL, following the new grading system which was announced by the RFL, the indicative phases for the clubs. It's created quite a lot of talk, and we will also be looking forward to what looks like a cracking weekend next weekend. Sorry, a little bit distracted by Father Christmas has just walked down the touchline and seems to be going down a storm with the Tongan fans.
Tonga Christmas, as it's always to be known. They bring such energy, don't they? The Tongan fans have really delivered. They've got stereos pumping music out everywhere.
And they have Santa. They're definitely winning on that one. Jodie, you've been in camp a little bit. You've had obviously training sessions with England. You had Yorkshire versus Lancashire.
Yes.
Was that a no-holds-barred game, or were you told to, you know, ease it back? You've got a big game next week.
It was more brutal than normal, I think. You know, there's places on the line, and whenever there's places on the line for an England test match, it's always going to be physical, it's always going to be intense. It was adapted rules, it was 420 minutes, it was no kicking conversions, it was a tap on the centre line for the conceded team. So it was a really quick, fast-paced game. And it was really brilliant for the coaches to see. But for us as well as players, I thought, you know, for me, Lancashire, you know, we came out on top. It wasn't about the result in that game. It was about everybody showcasing what they've got to offer. And, you know, we've got some exciting young talent in England now that's coming through and really putting their hand up to be part of big test matches like this and like we've got next week.
So Stuart Barrett's come up with a 20-woman squad. After that, after you bashed each other up a little bit, one of the most exciting players, though, coming back, not involved with that, Georgia Roche, who comes back to play for England as an NRLW winner with Newcastle Knights. I mean, that's quite something.
Yeah, how brilliant is that? Not only did we have 3 England girls go out and play in the NRLW and get contracts, but we had an NRLW winner, and I think Georgia Roche was outstanding. All 3 players, I thought, did themselves a lot of credit, but for me, Georgia coming back, what she offers in the halves, I think, is really important to England, and she's going to be pivotal next week.
And, you know, as you say, they've gone over there, they've done themselves that pride. And what, you know, how important do you think it is for you lot that you've got players going over there? You've got an Ashes test coming up, you know, series coming up in a couple of years' time, that you're proving yourselves to those Australians and to yourselves a bit?
Look, the women's game's no different. I think there's always an opportunity for the Aussies to look down on maybe the competition over here, and I think us having some really good players going out there and competing and doing themselves really proud just proves that we have got talent here, we have got a lot to offer, and actually when it comes to internationals, then we're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
The other side to that is actually, look, it shows we've got somewhere to go over here. The women are choosing to go out there for commercial reasons, to get paid to play the game. We have some payments for players. That needs to improve as the game develops, but it's a good news story in the main. I'm just being cynical. I've had to bring one cynical point into the conversation.
Interestingly, York last night announced that 3 of their players, all in the England squad, are having full-time contracts. They've been going, which is it's a huge step forward. A word about Wales. You know, they are building, aren't they? It's quite a young sort of game in Wales, but they are really building, and Cardiff Demons doing great.
Yeah, they are. Look, Wales are a new side internationally, but they're really coming on. They're going to be strong. They're going to give us a test, and we're excited. We need to build it in England so that we can have those competitive matches.
And the teams are back out for the second half, so we will get in the dry and hand you back to our commentary team of Brian Noble and Matt Newsom.
Thanks, Tanya, well deserved. I think you certainly are well due a trip to the dry. No such respite for these players, Brian. They've had their breaks. No doubt a flea in the ear for some of the perhaps the Tonga players. What do you think the message would have been from the respective dressing rooms?
Well, I think if you're England, you'd be really happy. They've been done what they've been asked of. They've executed well at the right end of the fields. They defended with a real composed and aggressive manner. They forced errors. They look in control. Smith and Lewis pulling the strings along with Radley. I think Tonga need to get a grip in relation to what they're trying to do. So I'm sure Christian Wolf, in whatever style he has to, has made the point is we're not competing in the right areas. We need to be better than we are on pretty much all fronts.
Back underway, second half then. Second test of a 3-match series. Huge triple header at Headingley next weekend. Will it be a chance to complete a treble for England? Or will it be taken to a decider? Tonga need to aim up in this second half if they're going to do so. Some half-time news, though first from Damien Johnson.
Yeah, Matt just had a quick word with one of the coaching staff with the Tonga team. A simple message from Christian Wolf at half-time, very much in lockstep with what John Wilkins said at half-time in his analysis. Clean up your discipline with and without the ball. We'll see if they heed the message.
Thanks, Damien. It does look, I mean, hopefully I'm not preempting it, tipping it back down again. It does look as though the rain has subsided slightly. So, knock on here from England. Chance for Tonga to put some of those lessons into execution here.
Well, if the first 5 defensive players were anything to go back from Tonga, they've certainly listened to Christian Wolf and improving the discipline with or without the ball, as Damien says. Great shoulder contact from Havili, force the area, 5 aggressive plays, get the ball back in a good field position.
Yeah, he's certainly been burying his shoulders about, hasn't he? Saliba Havili. So Tonga scrum. They've gone for 4 on this left side. And there's a little bit of a push in there as well at the scrum. Oh, here they come. So Moses Suli is being used as a sledgehammer at the moment. Now Eliisa Katoa, and they are inside England's red zone here. Havili, Lolohea takes it into the teeth. Brazil with a little switch. But England stand firm here. They are being edged back though. Into centre field, Koloma Tangi out to Katoa. Now they've got some space. England looking to slide across.
Really good defence from England, Matt. Tonga looks sharper with the ball too.
Yeah, real intent being shown at the moment. Battering their way forward. Once again, Havili swings it back. Koloma Tangi keeps it moving. Lolohea with the kick. Dangerous kick in the end. It was cold as ice from Jack Welsby to watch that one behind for a 7-tackle set.
That was brilliant from Welsby. Shepherded the ball out, 20-metre restart, knew exactly what he was doing. Ice-cold veins, ice-cold blood in his veins. That was me, I'd have panicked because there had 3 or 4 red jumpers. That was a good offensive set from Tonga.
One man who would love to be involved out there this afternoon is the England captain, George Williams. Just saw his current successor, Jack Welsby, in the frame. He is with Damien Johnson.
George, a pretty happy dressing room, an England dressing room at half-time?
Yeah, pleasing. We're happy with the 12-0, but we feel like we can still go up a few more levels defensively. And with the ball, we probably turned over a little bit of early possession and insets and too many errors. But we'll try and play the conditions right and get behind Harry's kicking game and yeah, try and finish the game strong.
Got to expect a reaction from Tonga in the second half, haven't you?
100%. We know we're going to have to play well for 80 minutes here, and like I said, we're going to try and get behind Harry's kicking game and defend for our lives.
Thanks, George.
Cheers, thank you.
Suspended for the first 2 tests. He will be back. He will be available for the Leeds game next week, that 3rd test. So Clark finds Lewis, sends the kick skyward. Good chase in the frame here. In the end, it was really cutely done though by Tui Lolohea, and they still haven't put the Tongan man down. Eventually they did though. Just for a second I thought they were getting a bit of a jump start through Tola Taukola.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. So did Lolohea. Great catch, wasn't it? Under pressure too.
Battered up that time by Moses Suli, who's really used as a real thrusting sword down that left edge here for Tonga.
There's a better vigour in every carry from Tonga.
Yeah, and they've certainly got the weaponry, haven't they? Here comes Ola Kawatu. Just beyond that 30-metre line. Katoa will kick a little more on Tonga's terms. Welsby at the back will take it. And then he's smothered by Tyson Frizzell.
Much better set from Tonga. So their first 2 goals with the ball, we've seen an improvement. Certainly defensively, we've seen an improvement.
England's turn. Look to launch a counter. Oh, Matty Ashton almost slipped the net that time. Devastating if he gets the chance to do so. Bateman with a bit of sorcerer's work. Now Lewis. And in the end, Toby King is folded up in midfield. Radley. Not too much difference by way of carries, but the England at the moment dominating the metres just about as the kick from Smith. That one strafes the top of the stand and it bounces awkwardly here, and it's been gathered up by Ashton. He's on a hat-trick, gets it away, Mamikin with a kick into the corner, and England fluffed the chance. I don't know whether they thought it wasn't going to happen anyway, Brian, but
Tom Johnson, if he's onside there on the kick, the way the looks of his face, he's made a big boo-boo there. All he has to do is pick up the ball. Watch this. Kick. All he has to do is pick it up. And, Tom Johnson. Ashton involved again. 2 plays before. It's dropped it, knocked it on.
Mike McMeekin, by the way, is a back rower, now a prop forward. And that kick was as subtle as you like. England have got the ball back here. They said something maybe is brewing. Tonga, though, stern in defence. Penalty, though, Jack Smith gives England an opportunity to have a real pop here, Brian.
I think they'll go for goal. McMeekin's kick should have been a try kick. Kick assist, everything you can put a positive tick round. And there's a penalty. I think Frizzell strips the ball. It's just been adjudicated on Clark.
I get the merits of the goal, but that's, I mean, the whole reason one of many reasons why I'm not a coach is I would love them to run this.
Yeah, that's the fan in you. They might run it, but I'm confident Smith will kick for goal.
Yeah, tees out. And England will just take the chance to tick the scoreboard over here. With every moment it stays like this, and with extra goals here, perhaps from Harry Smith, the job for Tonga to keep this series alive just seeps away. So Harry Smith,
here it comes.
Slippery old day out there. Boots it through, and England stretch out the lead again. They're on course to make it an unassailable lead in the series.
Well, the thing that Sean Wayne will be pleased about, the thing that Lee Breers will be pleased about, is they haven't had much ball in actually Tonga's 20, but they've got 14 points on them, so they've executed really well when they've had the opportunities. They've been better in that department, because the first 10 minutes of this second half has been pretty even Stevens. In fact, Tonga are carrying the ball more vigorously, with more purpose, but England come away with the points.
Yeah, good chase that time from Tonga. Should I say Olakawatu, and that was Kalawatanga, wasn't it? Fotuaika that time involved in the tackle with Havili. No adding for Noah Blake at the moment. He went off of that sternum injury in the first half, and unless he's come back on here, I haven't seen him. Unless he's sneaked back on. At the moment, he's warming the bench with that sternum injury. Smith with the kick, looking for a 40-20. It doesn't quite carry. And once again, Tonga are going to return the ball through Tolutau Kola, who will come away from this series, whatever happens, with a lot of credit in the bank.
Oh,
and that's a bell ringer from England again. And there is their talisman for Tonga, for Noah Blake. Havili coming off, and that will mean that Dion Tialpa comes on. Frizzell. And he's pushed back by that England defensive effort. That's jammed in a couple of players, though. Fotuaika. That's them streaming off him.
England haven't flapped defensively. They haven't been put under pressure.
Here goes Katoa. Katoa's got support, and it might be an instant impact from Tialpa. Not this time. England do just enough.
I was just saying how great England were defensively. Tonga ripped them apart the middle. There you go.
Yeah, big raps for this guy, Isaiah Katoa. And Dion Tialpa just couldn't quite make the best of it. England being forced back here, though. Tonga are shooting off the line and hitting hard. 3 in the tackle that time. And here's a Katoa involved that time with Dion Tialpa. Chris Hill finds his progress checked by a swarm of red shirts.
They've been so much better this second half. Not reflected on the scoreboard because of England's precision, if you like.
Mike McMeekin that time trying to pick his way through the Giants, and he's no slouch himself. England burning through the tackles here. And now Jack Wellsby will take it right into the teeth of things here. Jack Wellsby, oh, what a ball that is, Ashton! Hooked back towards the middle. Oh, it's been knocked on here by Tonga, who was in no backwards. England get the penalty.
It must be for offside. Or holding back. It's holding back the England player who's trying to recover the ball. Maybe Victor Radley was involved there. Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, it's a tackle off well and truly off the ball there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he weren't having it. So that's a penalty. I think England will kick for another goal here, Matt.
Daz, are you tapping it?
I don't know. Darryl Clark has it in his hands.
It's a pullback.
They're setting up the shape.
They've got the 3-score advantage. This is the right decision too.
John Bateman.
Surrender.
Sets a platform. Mikey Lewis has peeled around to the short side. Instead, it'll be Radley, turns it back to Hill. Chris Hill never scored for England, never scored for Great Britain. Last try was in March 2022. He's overdue. That time at Meakin. Oh, they've set a real point here. Smith. Oh, Wellsby. That's a terrific shot. Isaiah Katoa. Ball and all. Now back to Smith. Radley. Sydney Roosters man gives England a position in front of the post. Smith, lovely pass. Oh, and Newman again. Matty Ashton. The hat-trick was on.
Well, they'd strip them for numbers. They'd definitely strip them for numbers. Smith did a brilliant job going into the line. Newman with the flick, tight catch and pass. There's Smith. Newman tries to get the ball out in front. But he'd still had it to score, by the way. The way he's been going Ashton today, you'd expect him to get into the corner there.
This just gives Tonga a chance, doesn't it? It just keeps the flame flickering for this Tonga team. Not up to the hour mark yet, so we've still got a good 26 or 7 minutes left to play. And Adam Fanua-Blake, by the way, is back in the fray shortly, I think. Is that him out there? Yeah, there he is, right into it again. Welcome returning for Tonga. Sternum injury, not enough to keep him out. Lolohea, oh, that kick's gone to ground. Frizzell's going to get onto this. Frizzell's got support with him, and there's a bursting run. What a cover tackle! Tom Johnston. Terrific tackle. Kohler was almost in. Tonga held out, but at the expense of a penalty.
They're still in this, aren't they, Tonga? Been better this second half. What a tackle from Tom Johnston. Flying across the ground like there's no tomorrow. Just missed the tackle there.
Tonga right into the guts of this England side. That time it was Eliesa Katoa right under the post. Tialpa, pressure from Marker, another penalty.
That's Meakin. Too quick off the line.
He's not even played the ball yet.
Yeah, that's too quick off the ball.
Enthusiasm being shown. Tonga have no option but to really take this game to England here. Fotuaika.
Surrender.
The big Gold Coast man.
Go on.
Drills it in. Oh, they're almost in again with Eliesa Katoa. They're winding up here. Isaiah Katoa this time.
Third. Move now, Elliot.
Kawato on that right edge. England desperately trying to put bodies in the way. Back it goes now to Katoa. Fanua-Blake.
It's bash at the moment. They need a little bit of finesse from somewhere.
Maybe it'll come now. Lolohea out of the back. Boate floats it wide, and that's a brilliant try. Jonathan Kohler, not for the first time in this series. Maybe has a Tonga score. Jack Smith says try on field, and Liam Moore has another assignment as the video ref.
Cheers, mate. Michael, for all live decisions to try on field, so we'll just look at the touching goal line here, please. Just confirming grounds the ball before the touching goal line. So go real slow, please. Nice and slow. Just confirm when the ball is grounded. Feet are in at that point. Feet are still in. Where's his foot going? Ball's still up. Ball's still up. Foot is up. Just go back. Just go for him. Just to confirm his foot is always in the air. It looks like it comes up at the point where it looks like it's going down. So nice and slow, please. Just want to confirm it. So his foot's up at that point. Foot's up. Thank you. I made my decision.
So a timely score for Tonga. Will Opoate with the money ball, and it's a score for the Tongans. The tourists, after marking this second test, just 10 points behind. It will be 8 if Isaiah Katoa can land it from the touchline. But what a setup, Brian Noble.
Well, we were talking about bash from Tonga. They get another penalty. Where was the finesse going to come from? Will Opoate provides it, finding Kohler with just enough space to get down the sidelines. Super play from Opoate. Super.
Little double pump. Just bought him that second, didn't it? And so Isaiah Katoa can well and truly keep this series in the fireplace, so to speak, as he drifts it from a long way out, and it just veers wide of the left upright. But it's only 10 points in it, more than the quarter of the game left to play. Still plenty of time.
Well, here's the money ball from Opoate. Just hung it out there long enough. The double pump, as you say. Mikey Lewis couldn't get there, screaming in cover. Game on. They've been better this second half, the Tongans.
Tonga fans partying. Tongan centre waving his flag. Regardless of the result, it's a party behind the post, that's for sure. And here come the Tongans again. Well, we know that would have given them a lift, won't it? That would have been just like a shot of energy. Tialpa trying to swing this one forward again. Eliesa Katoa, lovely play. Oh, he's a little round the corner. The Dion Tialpa goes to ground. They were trying to get something out of that, the Tongans.
Well, Olakoatu has just barreled his way through with the offload.
Dion Tialpa couldn't take it in. England have it back. But there's plenty of pushes in there for this Tonga team now. And if Noah Blake back out there.
So wait, the pitch is set. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. Head in, head in. Shot clock off. Ball, Harry.
Jack Smith like a school teacher out there at the moment, trying to police that scrum.
Doing like a commentary on the game, wasn't he?
Trying to take our jobs. He's not content with being out there in the middle. England has loads of shape on this right side, and that's where they're going to come now. Wellsby just looking to quell the Tongans, who fought their way back into this game. Danny Walker's on it, hooker, and it's his ball in field now to Lewis. Shunted up again by Matty Lees. They've got a point here. Either side of the ruck, there are dangerous options for England. They'll go to Smith. Into the hands of Mike McMeekin. It was route one that time from England. Still a chance. And here's some of the Tongan calls there. They were looking to set the defensive line. Wellsby poised. Options for England. Radley juggled. Lost.
I thought the referee had missed that then. Victor Radley's got the ball back again, thinking, can I play on? Did he see it? It's clearly a knock-on from Victor Radley. Clean balled him and then hit his head.
Good to see a Falcon, even if it was a knock-on Falcon. Moses Suli.
Well, he runs hard, doesn't he, Suli?
Yeah, big old weapon. St George Illawarra man. On that left side, 7 hours apiece. The rain is just about subsided, I think. Certainly looks a little bit dry. That's scrappy from the dummy half. Too scrappy for Jack Smith's liking.
Now it's gone forward first, but it's gone back.
Waller here, was it? Dummy half.
Yeah, where's it come? In the middle. Lads, it's a scrum.
No.
Deontay Alba. Yeah.
Shot clock on.
Oh, well, it's harsh. Maybe a bit harsh, that one, but
Numbers
it's been
lads.
pretty consistent, hasn't he, Jack Smith? So,
Yeah, where you are.
so England have an opportunity now.
Are you in, have all of you?
Well, since the score, they've gifted England field position again.
Scrum off. Time's off.
Tonga had extra numbers there. That's a cheeky one.
Shot clock, we're all right there. Yeah, I turned it off. In here. Ball in. Out.
So Walker out to Smith. He's peeled around. Is Wellesby. Oh, and the ball's come out. Will Penasini mucking in for Tonga.
He knocked on, did Wellesby. They created the numbers. Wellesby got bashed. Dropped the ball. There you go. Hyperextended his shoulder. Caused the alarm.
Yeah, there was a grimace, wasn't there, when you saw him after that. He's just testing it out. There's Lindsay Hoyle.
Jack in. Shot clock off. Ball. Ball's out.
Who's a big supporter of rugby league, big advocate. Moses Suli manages to gain a bit of ground. Chialpa on the back of his carry follows suit. Tonga inside the final quarter now. Fanua Blake tangling as only he knows how. It's the modus operandi for the New Zealand Warriors forward. Pack leader. Most after contact meters in the NRL. Which tells you just how successful he normally is. Katoa and Lolohea out to Frizzell. Almost poked his nose through. Last one here, Brian, for Tonga. Waika went, I'm not on the last tackle plays. Katoa is. Tom Johnston pouches that one, and there's a bit of broken field. Tonga did well in the end just to shut the door.
Well, the crew picked it up at half-time about the quality of Tonga's last plays. In general, have been poor. You can't say the tries are poor, but the kicking game has been poor in relation to England's. Maybe they're defining the difference between the two teams at the end of the day.
And we saw some really good short kind of kicking game in the first test, didn't we? A lot of hair rolling one through for Frizzell. And some nice finishes out wide, but as you say, the handovers haven't been ideal. Here comes McMeekin. Slugs it forward. Danny Walker, down the short side is Lewis. Oh, Bateman tried to smuggle that away. Bit of a timing issue there maybe for England.
Well, Lewis saw the hole in and around the ruck. He went down the hole and he attracted two red jumpers, which freed up the two outside England attackers. But John Bateman couldn't find them. Just a bit too flat.
Yeah, not enough depth, was there? Rugby League Extra follows us at 4:30 next weekend. Big triple header, by the way. England-Wales in the women's game. Live on BBC Two from 11:30. The third men's test follows that, of course, and then the wheelchair on the Sunday.
I just feel Tonga need a bit of threat out of the number 9 position. Try and manufacture some there. Well, certainly Lola here and Katoa need to take the ball on a little bit more.
Yeah, plenty of big forwards have carted it up, and Adam Fanua Blake, one of them there. Took some felling. Chialpa on the back of that. Plenty of players offering themselves up here. Tom Burgess back on for Victor Radley. Moses Suli now. Unfurled. Like a missile. Chialpa in the middle of the field now for Katoa. Here's his namesake. Out to that side. Penasini almost
better
easing his way through.
Better rugby league from Tonga.
Isaiah Katoa Finds Fanua Blake, Lola Hare, they've switched it along the line, Hopewate just through a dummy. This is the kind of range that Tonga have been looking for. Another score would really crank this game up for the Tongans. Tiaupa, Katoa ran himself down a cul-de-sac, England penalty. And it's sparked off here. Mikey Lewis being told to go away.
That's a killer, because that's a penalty in possession. But the one thing you can't do in a test match, in a close game, you've got the right end of the field, you push in, you look a whole lot better with the ball, you're trying to find an opportunity, and you give a penalty away. Will Hopewate, so he's played the ball, and Mikey Lewis has gone for he's touched him for sure. He's gone for the drama queen throw, hasn't he?
Well, it's given his side a penalty tap by Newman. And he has got that evasive footwork. It's come through his hamstring injuries and really tricky knee injury as well in his career. Plenty of promise about Harry Newman. Just 23, he's another Huddersfield-born player. Played at the Newsom Panthers in his junior days. Mike Mamikin has his momentum check. An unceremonious fashion by those Tongan forwards. Walker jumps out, finds Burgess, pop pass, lovely catch. Here comes Lewis again. Lewis headed for the line and just about dragged down, and the momentum almost took him over. But England have a position here. Desperate defence from Tonga. Bateman trying to smother it. Somehow England keep hold of the ball. Last tackle in amongst the boots was Burgess. Smith puts it on a sixpence. A good cover at the end. Oh, took it at the back. Tonga will get the ball.
We're going to be set.
7 tackle set, is it?
The set, mate.
There's a deem that he's caught that in goal. There's Lewis on the fly. He tried to scoot over and slide over and fly low and just get his fingertips over. You have to give credit to Tonga for the desperate nature of their defence there.
Tonga quicking up the ruck, and they've got a set restart within this set as well. If they can make it tough for England, then that much might make this a humdinger of a finale. At the moment, England have a hand on the shield. And a 2-0 lead for Fanua Blake. Looking for offloads as he has been all series. England swarm upon him. That wasp to an ice cream. Back it goes Katoa. Got short ball for Frizzell. That was a high-risk pass. And it had the risk with it that didn't quite pay off.
Well, this second half they've got the bash bits right of Tonga. Katoa and Frizzell don't connect there. That's where it's been wrong for me for Tonga. They haven't managed to manufacture anything away from their goal forward. They've been better with the goal forward. They've looked more determined, looked more disciplined, other than the Hopewate push on Mikey Lewis. But they just hadn't had that element of finesse to trouble this composed English defence.
Yeah, Sean Wayne can certainly be happy about the mettle of his side. Mikey Lewis drifting across field, just swamped by Alakawatu that time. Like a mismatch, and then he's involved again. They're certainly putting plenty of traffic down his channel, aren't they? As Smith finds Wellsby. Turn back on the inside for Newman. He's trying to wriggle clear of Tartola and does. Then an offload, somehow kept alive here by England. Then McMeekin's almost away.
Last tackle off it, play ball.
Last one for England.
What's the reaction there?
Walker finds Smith. A dink into backfield. And brilliantly taken. I think it was Kohler again.
Kohler.
Move now, England 10 Matty.
Yeah, he's passed plenty of tests in this test series.
Well, he's had to, because Smith's been on the money with his kicking game again. And if there's one glaring difference between the teams, it's been the quality of the kicking and probably the half-back play.
Moses Suli gives Tonga a bit of a platform to build off here. Tiaupa ran down a white-walled cul-de-sac that time. Katoa looking to get them on the front foot. the Tongans. Time ticking down. Almost up to the final 10 in the second test here. Katoa, that's a long kick. Might just well travel on this pitch. 7 tackles set for England, Brian.
Just another example of how they've not quite got their kicking game right, Tonga. 7 tackles for England from their 20 metres.
Matty Ashton maybe sniffing out that there might be a bit of space in this tired pack. Paul Wellington, Christian Wolf in the conflab in the Tonga coaching box. Chris Hill ramps up for England. Enthusiastically received by those who follow him on a regular basis for his club side, Huddersfield. Bateman with that little burst of energy as he comes slicing through the middle. Scored in that game in Auckland in 2017 as he played in the centres that day. Walker runs into a fearsome red brick wall. 11,210 here this afternoon for this second test at Huddersfield, and it's a knock-on from England. And Tyson Frizzell has copped one, that's for sure.
It was a smart little play in around the middle to try and release Welsby. Frizzell, well, it's Kafusi that comes over the top and forced the error from Welsby, but
maybe a bit of friendly fire there for Tyson Frizzell.
Yeah. Some blood on his melon. Gonna have to go off and get that cleaned, is he?
It's been ferocious fare. Yeah, I think he took a stray boot, didn't he, I think?
Kafusi's boot.
No fuss, no theatrics, just solid.
Just sellotape my head together, physio. Just go on and I'll get on with it. We're very proud of our stoicism in rugby league.
Yeah, Tyson Frizzell's been literally patched up. It's like running repairs, isn't it, really? So England 14 points to 4 up. And a big part of that has been Matty Ashton finishing brilliantly on the back of Newman's tip-on, and then somehow appearing from nowhere to dot down on the back of a Mikey Lewis kick.
There's no substitute for speed, Matt.
And Tonga looking to prove that virtue as well, as Kola is pressed into the turf.
I think the major difference in the teams is the engine room. So I think 9 and in around 7 and 6, they've been less productive than certainly Harry Smith has been, Mikey Lewis has been, Clark, Walker comes on, adds injection, Welsby out the back. I just think there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect with the Tongan team. They're really relying heavily, and why not, on some of their big boppers bashing their way forward, but they've lacked a little bit of dexterity.
Yeah, they might well work something here as Kaloma Tangi went wide. Space down that touchline for a moment for Tupou, but it was closed on him. Katoa, nice footwork, nice evasion. Tonga find themselves on the last here. Havili finds Kafusi. All the movement down this left side. Oh, they went out the back that time. Suli will smother it and turns the ball over. Tonga just lacked the composure, the shape. Almost left ragged by England's defensive effort.
Well, they've certainly got something to work on for this upcoming third test. They won't give this game away, trust me. But England have just been more efficient, better, people knowing their roles.
So Walker out to Matty Lees, pumps it forward, the St Helens man. More defensive test from Katoa. Chris Hill, who at the age of 35 looks as evergreen as ever in an England shirt. Lewis pushed back on the inside for Tom Burgess. Tongan defence is standing firm to that. Bateman, oh, he's sensing a bit of a tired defensive effort there as he went buccaneering forward. Last one for England here. Lewis, Smith with the dummy. He's going to chip ahead himself here in the end. Really good cover at the back. Just screening round. Not for the first time. Toletau Kola is the man on the spot for Tonga.
He's done some really desperate catching and fielding and pruning and guarding and everything that's been going out there. He's been there today, Kola. He's had a wow of a game.
134 metres, only surpassed by Olakau'atu with 136, and that's across the board. A real meter eater. And it looks as though it'll be in vain. So England defending here. Lollahair, they've got a bit of shape now as Suli. They're going to punch away down this left edge. Papawate steps in. They've coped with the battering rams really well. Lollahair with a little chip ahead. Katoa couldn't work his way through the forest of England bodies.
Well, that's the desperation element of Tonga trying to get back into the game. And it's another example of how efficient England have been defensively. Composed rather than efficient. They understood they were going to try and do something. 4 white jumpers in the frame on the kick.
10 points in it, 6 to go. It's England's now. You would imagine, unless Tonga can mount an Auckland-esque 2017 World Cup fight back. Some of those Tongan supporters behind the posts are still jumping around and dancing and enjoying themselves, but there we go. They're still beating those drums with the same vigour. So here come England on the last. Lewis bangs up the kick. Oh, underneath it, Hopawate. And it's a penalty for Tonga.
Attempt to play the ball though, mate. He's just ran straight into the man. Just waiting for him to go outside. Yeah, cheers, mate.
So Kola finds touch.
At least look at ball, mate.
England a bit more defending to do. And Moses Suli has a couple of defenders backpedaling.
I think Tonga's game plan next week will be one in for a Suli.
Oh, and they've lost it, Tonga. And England celebrate that. A defining moment at the end of this one, as Tonga are forced into the error. So England have the game in the bank, you'd imagine now. What about the player of the match, Brian Noble?
Well, it's an Englishman. You have to give Harry Smith a lot of credit for the way he's got the team around here. The defence have been good. There have been cameos from Bayman at times, Radley at times have been good. So they've all contributed to a magnificent team effort, England. But I think the difference between the two teams is Matty Ashton. His speed to burn for his 2 scores and his defensive effort in the first half gives him the man of the match.
And a scrum which has just sparked into another melee. I don't think anybody can really be bothered with it, given that some of the smiles on show. I don't know whether they're just winding each other up here. Jack Wellsby is full of his own thoughts, and now he and Andy Blake are going to be brought together with Jack Smith. And let's maybe listen in.
Off for a cooling off period here. Let's just calm down. Come on, mate.
Distinctive twang. Just chill out, I think, was one of the England phrases. But easy to chill out, Brian, when you're 14-4 up with 3.5 to go.
Easy if you're in a white jumper.
Ball's out. Stay on it.
England come again. Toby King battling for Tongans around him, just trying to flatten him. Got a quick-ish play the ball. Tom Burgess.
Vanua Blake was going for the bell. Was it Havili that was going for the big one?
The few Tonga players were just lining up anything in a white shirt at the moment. Hill, oh, he takes one from Kafusi. They might well be going down. They're not going down without a fight here, Tonga.
They've been a whole lot better in the second half than they were in the first. a little bit of dexterity in around their arse, and particularly find some last plays. They'll be a whole lot closer to this England team than they were.
Yeah, plenty of graft, lacking at times in craft, but they are certainly, as you say, improved in the second half. There's been a defensive metal muscle about them. England call forward again. Smith sends the kick up, and Hopoate flew through the crowd and plucked that one out of the air. There's no respite here as Tupou is sent packing. And he's just feeling the effects of that last shot.
I think he's a bit of cramp snuck in.
Yeah, it's been tiresome for these Tonga players, getting used to the conditions, getting used to the weather and the test match tussle at the end of a long season for all of these players. Arvili's pass to Suli, was allowed to go. Suli gets a pop away. A lot of hair taken down. Last one for Tonga. England's bench ready to join the party. 2-0 series lead. That's the kick downfield. Tonga trying to keep it alive. In the end, Jack Welsby just does a shepherd's job. So Jack Welsby knows, as England captain, he and his England players have done the job in this Test series. Historic tour of these shores by Tonga. First Pacific Island nation, first Tier 2 nation to come here and bring all the colour and all the ceremony and pageantry and excitement that a touring Test nation does. The Polynesians will have one last chance, won't they, Brian? But
well, first and foremost, they'll be disappointed that they've got knocked over today. They were expecting some improvements. Their first half was ordinary by anybody's standards. They've been a whole lot better in this second half and have gone toe for toe in many respects with England, other than the important facets of their last plays, their kicking game, and their execution once they're down at the right ends of the field. So they've got to find some answers to those particular problems. England, they've been efficient, they've been good, they've put some points on, they've looked dangerous through Smith, he's organised the team really well, and Matty Ashton, the difference in the speed on the flanks and execution, as well as his try-saving effort.
Sorry about that, Brian. Liam Farrell just out there, entering the fray late on. Tony Walker will cart this up. The clock is ticking down. The England fans can celebrate. The England players can celebrate because they have won this Test series. They beat Tonga in St Helens. They beat Tonga here in Huddersfield. The series is in the bag. 2 bruising encounters. But England have shown that they can mix it with some of the world's best. They have been a Tonga side, packed with stars, packed with heavyweight class. And they have come out on top in this one, Brian Noble, by 14 points to 4, and the series is theirs.
Thoroughly deserved series win. Did enough last week when both teams were a bit scratchy, some line breaks, we saw excitement. This week was a bit tougher. Tonga were better, but England have been more organised and more clinical. You've matched up the two teams, you've got lots of biff and bash and line break in certain parts of the Tongan, but they just didn't have that dexterity that you need to prize open this well-organised, determined England defence. Big forwards, go forwards for England, match their Tongan counterparts. That's where they're 2-0 up in the series. And the craft around Lewis and around Smith and Welsby and their kicking game, particularly understanding the nature of the game, put them in control.
So there'll be one more test to go at Headingley next weekend as part of a huge triple header for England, but it's celebrations all round here in Huddersfield. England have won the series. They've beaten Tonga in game 2 by 14 points to 4.